Hello, welcome. Welcome to The Powerful You. I'm really excited to do this video with you and to share this information with you. And I am here with Rosalind Oden. My name is Kim Brew, and we are a part of an organization called Go Life Coach. And Go Life Coach is an organization that is really centered around how to live a powerful life that you love. And today we're here to discuss a portion of that, which is how to tap in to the powerful you. So I just want to start out a little bit by explaining who I am. I'm a facilitator with Go Life Coach. I've been a life coach for over 20 years, and at this moment I am in a position of training coaches for Go Life Coach. Coaching is my passion. It's something that you know how they say if you could do something without getting paid to do it, what would you do? For me, it would be coaching, because coaching literally saved my life. I can't imagine who I would be if this had not entered my life over 20 years ago. So I'm really proud to be a part of Go Life Coach. Go Life Coach is made up of people across the world. Specifically people in the United States that I have a really close connection with, and one of those people is Rosalind. So if you need to know any more about me, I hate introductions, but I'm a mother of three. I'm a registered nurse. I just opened a nursing agency called The Perfect Match, where we have group homes for people who are intellectually disabled. So I'm really passionate about that as well. And really just at this part of my life, enjoying and exploring life. I think sometimes we get really caught up in our careers, we get caught up in so many other things during the duration of our life that we don't actually have the feeling of what it feels like to be alive. So at this part of my life, I can truly say that I am enjoying my life, and I have the feeling of what it feels like to be tapped in, turned on, and being alive. So I want to turn it over to Rosalind, and so she can introduce herself, and then we'll go straight into the information.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rosalind Oden, and I am a student at Go Life Coach, practicing to become an amazing professional under the tutelage of Kim. And in my work and career life, I am a health educator, and I work primarily with parents of infants. So help assisting them to how to care for their babies and what is safe. For many years, I worked in behavioral research, and our primary focus was to reduce infant mortality in the African American community. We're losing a lot of babies. So I recently retired, and the last year, November 30th, was 1 full year. And going through that particular process after working many, many years, it was very scary to think of even not getting up in the morning and going to my job. And I feel now that it was that way because I was used to doing that, just going through the motions of life, not really experiencing life, having daydreams and night dreams of how I could soar, how I could fly, but those things never really came to fruition because I was always working day in and day out, paying bills, and basically living an unfulfilled life. So once I got involved with Go Life Coach, I began to discover some things about myself that were already inside of me. They were here, but I was stuck. So, and I know a lot of people are having that experience in life. And it takes a while for you to realize it. And we're here to help or assist you in discovering what living your best life looks like. So I'm happy that we're going to be sharing this information with everyone today. I am so hopeful that you'll be able to get something good and positive out of this, and it would lead you to live the life that you always wanted to live, to get away from worry, stress, and all of those types of negative things. I am on a personal level a parent. I have 2 kids. They're like 10 years apart. So rearing them was like being a parent in 2 different worlds. I have a child that's 10 years old, and you have a child that's an infant. So, it was really crazy for me back then. And I was a single parent.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that for a fact, a lot of people are having that experience, and you feel totally, completely stressed out, and don't know how you're going to make it from day to day. But everything that you want and dream of and desire is a possibility, and you can create that. Yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
Okay. All right, great. So now you might be wondering why this is even a necessary conversation. And the reason why we felt like this is a necessary conversation is because so many people aren't aware of the power that they possess. And
Correct.
it leads people to leave what we would call, quote unquote, a normal life, which is the habit of repetition. So repetition is getting up every day, going to work, coming back home. You might go out on a weekend to have a little fun, and then you're right back to the grind. And then you feel like your life is like on this hamster wheel, and it's like, when will it ever end? So it's the same thing, guaranteed. Go to work, come back home, pay bills. Go to work, come back home, pay bills, right? Maybe if you have enough energy to go and have some fun on the weekends for yourself. So we're living from week to week. Sometimes people talk about living from paycheck to paycheck. Even if you're not living from paycheck to paycheck, you're living from week to week. So do you actually have the experience of what it feels like to be alive? And throughout that course, you may have like distractions in life. So you'll have issues that'll come up with the children, issues that'll come up with your job, issues that'll come up with your relationships. The car breaks down, the pipes bust. It's like life will happen. And then in that moment, you may feel powerless, like you're powerless to change anything or do anything. Even with relationships with families and friends, it's like, why am I going through this? So we want to let you know that it doesn't have to be that way, and that you do have this enormous amount of untapped potential inside of you that you can access. So the first thing we want to look at is, what is power? What do we mean by that? Like, in the moment, you might be feeling like you're powerless to change your situation. Like, okay, I want to get out of this neighborhood, or I want to get out of this job, or I want to get out of this marriage, or I want to get out of something that you started. So we want to take a glimpse at life to see what that looks like. And I'm not particularly interested, because I'm going to tell you something about me. And you might feel the same way. You ever felt like you listen to these infomercials, you listen to these webinars, and you're like, I just want the answer. You listen to the whole thing, and they never give you the answer on how to get the result that you're looking for. Yeah, it's like, I'm waiting for the answer. I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I done went looking for the answer, and they never gave you the answer.
Right. You get so excited when you see a video like that. You're like, okay, this is it. Right. And they're telling me it's gonna be 15 minutes or 10 minutes, a short video, and they're gonna give me the answer, and I'm gonna be able to go forth and make this happen. And then it doesn't happen.
No. And then they sell you a $5,000 package on the other end. They're like, you can get the answer if you pay $4,999. You're like, what the hell? I just listening to that damn video. Right. And they never told me how to get the guy, how to get the job, how to get the money. Like, everybody's promising or how to get this stuff, and they never give you the answer. I promised myself, if I was ever in this position, I would tell people, not only give them the information, but the information means absolutely nothing unless you know how to apply it. And that's the missing piece. They don't tell you how to apply the knowledge that they gave you. And 9 times out of 10 is because they didn't apply it either. Like, they didn't know how to do it either. So,
right. And at the end of something like that, you end up feeling hoodwinked and bamboozled.
Yes.
And
Yes.
just taken advantage of, and then you're
Yes.
depleted once again and feeling back into that slump as
Yep.
if there's no hope. But we're here to
Exactly.
let you know, hey, there is hope. You know, there's hope.
Right.
for
And the thing
a
is, it
better
makes you
life
not
or a
trust
better
people.
living.
That's what it is. It makes you
Yeah.
not trust people because you figure like you're going to, it's another one of those things. Like,
Yep.
here we go with another one of those things where they just talk and they don't tell you nothing at the end. So, all right, we're here to attempt to give you the solution, at least attempt. But I'll tell you what though, you can have all the information in the world, but if you don't know how to apply it, it's useless. You know, like I can't tell you how many seminars, how many lectures I've sat through. And then I walked away like, okay, how do I apply this to my life? You know, like, how do I get it to work in my life? How do I activate the power? How do I get to the part where I'm living a better life?
That is so very true.
Yeah.
And I've been in the same similar situations where you go to conferences, you spend money to go to these places to find out what you can do to move your life to the next level. And I have often walked out of those venues feeling like this wasn't even for me. I could not relate to anything that happened here at all. But the advertisement for the event or conference or workshop led you to believe that this is the place where I'm going to be fixed. This is a way where we're going to get solutions. You know, I'm going to figure out what my next step should be so the quality of my life can improve. And, you know, once again, you may feel depleted.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing about those things. One of the things you said was being fixed. And the thing I love about Go Life Coaches, they make it known right from the jump, we're not here to fix you, that you're whole and complete just the way that you are. The only thing is there's a piece that's missing that we want to insert, right, to give you access to this power. One of the main things that can give you access to power is having confidence. So, okay, let's say I know how to change a lock in theory, right? But I don't know how to change a lock until I've actually changed the lock, right? Now, once I've changed the lock one time, now I have confidence, right? So we instill a sense of confidence by showing you how to apply this information. So that's one of the first keys, is having the confidence to activate this information, to activate your power. So if you're like, oh, that's for you, that's not for me, that's because you have a lack of confidence. So we want to insert the confidence by showing you how to apply it. Once you apply it once, you say, okay, I know how to change a lock because I changed a lock before, right? So if I changed it before, I could change it again, right? And that's basically with anything. So that's one of the things that we want to insert. So the first thing we want to do is look at, again, the question of what is power? What does that mean? Right inside of me, I have power. How are you telling me I have power when I feel like everywhere I go, I have no power? Nobody wants to listen to me. I'm not important. My voice doesn't matter. I don't matter. It doesn't matter if I speak up or not. Nobody's going to listen to me, right? So if you're in that space, you may be feeling like you're in a space where you have no power. Now, how did you get there, right? Because we're all born the same way. We all came in the same way, except there were certain things that happened along the way from the time you were born to where you are now. And that was like your influences, people that were around you. So your parents, your community, your school, your classmates. And during that time, you might have felt like your power was taken away. So one of the ways, I just had a conversation with somebody last week because we were talking about how to take ownership of things. And they said, well, I really didn't feel like my voice mattered. Like if I said anything, it would make a difference. So I'm like, okay, you inserted that, but where did that come from? And then where it came from as a child, right? That person was always told to sit down and shut up. So it was like they took that child's voice away. They took that power away. So what you have to say makes no difference. It doesn't matter, right? So that's how you could take a person and shoot down their power right from the gate. So then you go through life feeling like what I have to say doesn't matter. It's not going to make a difference here. And then you show up powerless, okay? Powerless to even change that part of yourself, right? Because every time you go to do something, because your confidence is shot, you don't say it as powerfully or effectively as you could have. If you were someone who was born into a family or environment where they told you, oh, what you have to say means something, right? Or they encouraged you to speak out. Now, in the Black community, most of us, it's a cultural thing to where we're told not to speak out, to not be seen or heard, play low, fly under the radar. You know what I mean? So that's a cultural thing that was being instilled in us. So the first thing we want to look at is we want to break down the cultural barriers that were instilled in us of you're small, you don't matter. So if I could give you anything today, the first thing I want to give you is that you matter and your voice matters. Just by you being alive means you matter. So this thing is not just for certain people that have power. This is for all people. All people possess the power within. So we want to show you how to go in and tap into that power when you need it. Okay. Do you have anything to say about that, Rosalind?
Yes, I do. When I think about power and being a powerful being, like from the very start of your life, though that's already being taken away from you from conception when your parents are thinking about what you will be, how you will be, what their plan is for your life, and you were always from the sperm and the egg, you were always an individual entity. So then you're born. Once you're born, and they look at you and they give you a name. They decide who you are and how you're going to be and what religion you're going to be a part of, what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink, what school you'll go to. They decide every single thing about your life, and like the beginning years of your life, this is how you grow up. And you become used to it. But nobody ever talks to us about our own personal individuality. And all I can think of is, if I had the skills that I have now back then, how much more powerful I would have been personally in my own life. Because I was told some of those things that Kim said. Be quiet, you're a child, stay in a child's place.
Yep.
That
And
means
what's
be
interesting?
quiet and don't say anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's interesting about that is from the first 7 years of your life, you're actually a recorder. Because you come in a blank slate, you don't have anything to reference other than the things that you experience in life, right? So you're recording how you should operate in the world. So if your parents instill like a program, like you downloaded a program into a new computer, right? We're downloading certain files into the computer that the child will access later, because the child is always growing into an adult, you know what I mean? So it's from a teenager into an adult. So the person is always growing. So that initial program that was put in, if the program that was put in was sit down and shut up, then you're somebody that's going to show up as hiding, right? You're the person that kind of sits in the classroom. You don't raise your hand. You don't put your input in, right? Because you were programmed to sit down and shut up. Right. And then the school comes along and says, oh, well, read out loud. So this is what happened with me, right? I was programmed, sit down, shut up. So then you get to school and it's like, oh, read out loud. So here I am trying to read, stuttering over my words. The children are laughing. Now I'm embarrassed. So now I'm unhesitant, I'm unsure of what I'm saying. Again, that breaks down my level of confidence. So then you go through life with a certain level of confidence, and sometimes you expand, sometimes you contract, right? But confidence is everything. Your belief in yourself is everything. So, and that's a part of your power. So we want to
Yeah.
give you that first part, that part first.
And might I add, the other people in your life, they're not doing this to like hurt you or harm you. They really, a part of the belief system is that this is what they're supposed to do in rearing you. So it is coming from a place of love, but it's also happening that way because of the unknowing.
Right.
The not knowing of a different way to handle situations or introduce information to children. So it does take a concentrated effort to learn and grow and develop yourself so that we can break that cycle. This is extremely important in our community, that we need to break this cycle of what has been done to us.
Right.
So this information is not meant to create any environment of hostility towards any loved one who played a major role in your life, like your
But
parents.
that was the best they knew.
It was the best that they knew.
They knew, and it was coming from the culture. Right.
Exactly.
It was coming from the culture, because that was the culture, like the norm across the board, was children should be seen and not heard. Right. So once you know, you have like those catchphrases. One time that catchphrase catches on, everybody adopts it as a belief system. Right. And then you pass that on the same way it was given to you, you give it to someone else.
Right. But you don't even look at the deeper meaning of what those things are intended to do to your psyche, to your power, to your personality.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
It's just like, to me, sometimes I think about it, like, how you have like a whole room full of people, everybody's in a line. You start out with a sentence, and then you'd ask the next person to repeat that same sentence. And by the time it gets all the way down to the end of the line, it's a total different sentence with a total different meaning than it originally started out to. And that is what we are being confronted with.
Yeah, exactly. So that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah, if you could just look at the way the culture shaped us, then you would get the understanding of how that power was lost from the beginning, right? So your power is like your energy source, right? It's the source in which you derive, like your fight, your stand for yourself, your love for yourself, your compassion for yourself, right? So in the body, you have energy centers, and we're not going to go into it in this video, because I believe if you check out some of the future work of Go Life Coach, we'll talk more about the energy centers. Some people refer to them as chakras. We're not going to go into that today, but we will talk about your general source of energy, and it comes from like your emotions, how you relate to the world. From the time that you come in to this world, you come in with feeling. You're feeling your way through life. And if you think about it, you're always talking about your life from the feeling that it gave you, right? Correct. So, yeah. So we had this conversation last week. It was an interesting conversation, because someone tried to challenge the sentence, and it totally backfired, right? Because they never were aware of how much your feeling body, your emotional body connects to the outside world. So, okay. So now when you look at what it means to be a human, right? A human is a spiritual being. What is this saying? That you're a spiritual being here having a human experience. Right, a human experience. So, okay, we're a spiritual being, which is our source of energy. So they call that source. So now, let's say, for instance, you have a toaster, and you want to get the toaster to work, you have to plug in to that source of energy, which is the socket. Even though the toaster is a toaster, we know it makes toast, it will not make toast unless it's plugged into the source. So the source is the power of energy. So you are the source. So you have to know how to tap in to those particular sources to pull that energy that you need. So when you look at life, how we do that is through our feelings. We're constantly engaged with our feelings because our feelings give us the feeling of feeling alive. It gives us the feel. It's how we interpret the world, right? So you look at something, you say, oh, that looks good. How we interpret the world is through our senses because that's all we can use. So we have our senses. And if you think about your life, everything derives from your senses. You look at it and you're like, yeah, that looks good. I want that car right there, right? Let's say you go to the bakery and you say, all right, I think I want that one right there. You're pointing to a donut in a pastry shop. And you're like, all right, I want that one right there, right? Because your eyes is looking at it, sensing it, saying that one is going to give me the feeling that I want of satisfaction, right? And how you know that, right? Feeling satisfaction that that donut is the right donut for me. So you're like, no, not that one. No, I want that one right there. That one looks a little fluffier and more plumper and more sweeter than the other ones. So that's us using our senses, that seeing, and using our past experience from the feelings that we had when we had a donut that looked like that, right? So the feeling is when we had a donut was flat and dry, we wasn't gonna like that. So you're always huh?
Pause. Something happened.
Okay. So
Yeah,
we paused it. Go ahead.
When I think about feelings, it comes in for myself personally, and I'm very aware of my feelings. But sometimes, in certain situations, what you're feeling is it's valid and it's important to you, but it might not be, I would say, real. And like if you have a feeling or an emotion, a feeling about someone, about something someone said, or something someone did, or something that you heard that might not be true, and it causes you to react in a certain way, whether it be positive or negative, but without more information, there's no way for you to know if that's actually true or not.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah,
But
our feelings are deceptive.
they're
very
they can
deceptive.
be deceptive. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times, somebody I thought like, oh, the way you made me feel,
Yeah.
and then it was not, their intention. You know what I mean? But I took it a certain way. So you're feeling so your feelings are actually energy and emotion. That's why they call it emotion. So it's energy, right? With motion, which is the action.
Mm-hmm.
You merge the two, then you have emotions, which are your feelings. It's the reactionary part of your body. So something happens, your body reacts with a certain emotion. So you may have a thought and it may bring a tear to your eye, right? You may have a thought and it'll bring joy to your life. Or you may experience something and it'll bring joy to you, right? So now, how are those feelings evoked or evolved? And it's from our past experience with it, right? So can you think anything like an example of what that would be like?
Yeah. Past experience. I had, I'll talk about my brother in relationship to the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
For so many years. He was angry with me. And because he was angry with me, well, I decided to be angry with him too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he was getting information from other people about what I was saying or what I was thinking or how I was expressing my feelings,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. We weren't talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
We had no communication with each other. So all of the information that was coming to us to create these negative feelings inside were coming from those relaying messages that we assumed were from each other. But finally, when we got to, talk to each other, none of that was real.
Yeah.
It wasn't real. But we, in our lives, experienced all of those emotions. And I can't express enough how damaging experiencing those emotions that way was for me, because of all that it causes in the body: distress, a headache, the upset stomachs.
So you're talking about the impact that that way of being has on your body.
The impact was just totally devastating with something negative. On the other hand, with something positive, like looking forward to, spending time with my grandchildren, I'm always elated, always so happy. So I have one grandchild that's here local that those things actually do happen with, but I have two grandchildren that live far away. So I can get all excited with my feelings about seeing them, and then something will happen, then the trip is postponed, or I won't be able to get to them.
So now what's the feeling though?
When with the disappointment, it's just a very low, depressing feeling. I feel like I don't have control over what is happening at this particular time.
Right. So now what if you were to release control? And you just said, you know what, it just didn't work out this time, but I'll see him again. So what if you were to go to that space instead of going to a space of being down, depressed? Like, what would that be like? If you had control over that, what would that be like for you?
Having control over it, it represents freedom for me. Freedom from that stress. It makes me
having control or releasing control?
Releasing control. I would say releasing the control over the outcome of a situation that involved not just me, but others who are just as capable as I am of making decisions about what will happen and what will not happen. So
I want to interject something for people who are listening. So this is probably a good video that you might want to take notes on. So if I was sitting here listening to this and I was taking notes, the one thing I would say, okay, my focus needs to be on looking at where my confidence strength, and then I would look at next over what control does to my life. So the power of releasing control and letting go, right? And so I had to be honest with you. We recorded this video back in February and the audio sucked. It was horrible. So now we're like, oh, we got to get this project done by the end of the year. So we're putting this project together, and some things have happened during that time that this program that we're recording today has deviated, and it's a little more meatier than the first recording. So I guess everything happens for a reason, because now we, lived a little and we're really concentrated on this thing. So now we have more insertions that we can put into this conversation. So because we're like kind of going back through our notes, and we're like, oh, we can add more into this topic, and we can add more here and more there. So once we add more, it's coming from wanting to add value to this video, and then instilling a bit of wisdom from that point to now. So wouldn't you say so? It's like a little more to it.
Yeah, it's a much more meatier. Yeah, and I will confess that back in earlier this year when we first recorded, I felt I was a little more, I would say, uneasy in myself in expressing my feelings actually about what we were doing. And today I feel so much more empowered about that. I'm not worried or stressed or feeling any of those. I'm feeling quite relaxed. And I view that as me having taken my power back.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because it was there all along.
It was there all along.
Yeah, exactly. You
It's
know,
like beside me saying, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm right here. All
right.
you have to do is tap into me. I'm right
Yeah,
here.
right, right. Right. And release, like
Yeah.
letting go, like release. Like one of the things you want to do is you want to release, right, the idea of it has to be perfect, right? And it has to be a certain way and it has to look a certain way, right?
That is so
Because
correct.
yeah, because that just creates undue stress. Because now you're like, oh, my hair is out of place. Oh, I gotta, stuff that don't
Well,
matter.
not only that, like I'm gonna say the wrong thing.
Right,
Like
yeah,
what if somebody laughs? What if
right,
somebody thinks,
right.
oh, this is
That's
a
the
big
whole
joke.
event, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah. We make
constricted,
up all of these things in our mind
right,
about, uh, what something is if you control it and
right,
what it might look like if you're not in control.
right,
And for me, that's where the panic would come in. Like nobody can do it the way that I can do it. So
right,
it has to be done so that it looks perfectly like how I would do
right,
it.
right.
And at the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
It, it
Nobody's gonna
doesn't
remember it. None of
mean
that.
anything. Nobody's going to
No,
remember any
no,
of that. Right.
no. Yeah, and it just really, it's it doesn't add anything, like it really detracts from your life if you wait to start projects or wait to do things until you think it's all perfect and it's handled. It's never going to be perfect and handled, nor do you want it to be, because there's always room for expansion. Like I was saying, from the time that we first recorded this video back in February, is now December. And so the even the expansion that we've made in our own personal life is apparent.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I was looking at this and I was like, I don't even remember what we were talking about back then. And I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, oh, I have more to expand onto this conversation now. So
Right.
again, everything happens for a reason. Don't be afraid to start over, right? We would have probably released that if the audio wasn't so bad. It was like all this crackling and all this stuff going on in the background.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, that's even like, we wasn't like focused on it being perfect, but you should at least hear us.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
every other word,
Yeah.
trying to hear every other word on a video, like that's crap.
Yeah, so rather than
Right,
try to fix whatever the sound quality was, we're starting over.
right,
And
right.
I
Yeah,
just think that the whole
yeah,
process is much more powerful
right.
now than it was
Yeah,
back.
yeah. So that's another way of gaining your
Mhm.
power back, is the power of letting go. And I think we'll talk about that a little bit later on in this video too, because I think that is a topic, right? So you want to understand your emotions. So if you had to go into really understanding yourself, look at how you react to things first. Like look at how, when upset comes, how do you react? Right? Do you fly off the handle? Do you cuss people out? You don't even have all the information. When you look at it, it really wasn't. You ever had somebody fly off the handle and then they get the rest of the information and they be like, oh.
Oh,
They be like, oh.
oh,
Well, why you
I
didn't
didn't
tell me
know
that
all
from
that.
the beginning? Right. Why you tell me that from the beginning? Well, yeah, I didn't know all that. That's
Flew
why.
off the handle. Look, they
Right.
flew off the handles too soon before the information was
Exactly.
distributed.
So before you go into upset, just ask more questions. That's all you got to do, right? Just ask more questions, and then you'll divert yourself from an upset.
Yeah.
So that's another way of getting your power back is don't fly immediately into upset. And even things will come throughout your day that will challenge you, and you just look at it and say, you know what? I know you're here to upset me, and I'm not going to give you the power. We'll keep my power.
Exactly.
I'm going to keep my
Like
power. Right, and I'm not going to give it away.
one of the things I used to do when I was would be upset, I would shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Shut down completely. Like you have just become friggin' visible.
Mm-hmm.
You're invisible. I don't see you. I can walk straight through you. I'm not going to communicate. And I felt like that was I'm going to show you. I'm going to
But what
show
did it
you.
do though? But what did it do? Honestly.
nothing. They just walked away. They were they were glad I didn't go off the handle and start yelling and screaming. Okay? And it also kept people from approaching me.
Wow.
It made it scary. It made it scary for them.
Right. So that created distance and an opportunity where it could have been.
Exactly. And
wow.
we know as coaches and people who've lived our life that when you behave that way in one area of your life, it is basically happening in all areas.
Oh yeah.
Of your
Most
life.
definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
They'd be like, I was so afraid to approach you because you might have killed me that day.
Right. I know.
And I was like, that's not what I was thinking. That's not even
right.
That's not what I was thinking. I went into myself, and that wasn't a good thing because other people, they could see you in a different light.
Well, that goes to show you, at any moment, you can be a different way.
Yep.
You don't have to shut down. You don't have to cuss people out. You don't have to do any of that. You can still maintain your power by asking questions and saying, you know what, like, what would make you, feel that way? Or what would make you feel like you had to take that course of action? Or just ask more questions, insight to get into that person's world of where they were at when they chose to be that way, right? Yeah. And then you may say, well, did you ever think about it like this, right? That you could have been this way instead of that way, right? Which had a profound impact on other people's lives, not just your life, right? Your way of being is always impacting other people's lives, either for the good or for the worse, right? So it gives them the feeling of not being able to approach you, not being able to talk to you, not being heard by you, not being understood by you, right? So you want to look at the feelings, right, of like not only your feelings, but how you make the other person feel too, as well. So I can tell you from my past, I have many dead bodies in my trail where I made people feel awful by that. And then I started saying like, oh, that's disgusting. That's not nice. Like, why are you doing that to people, right? Like, why are you making them feel bad to make yourself feel good, right? And I was just like, wow, okay. And I saw in that moment, I wasn't actually being powerful at all, right? I was just being reactionary. So the thing is, you have power when you leave yourself in a good space and the other person as well. So you want to leave people better than the way you found them. You want to leave people in a good space about you. That's power, not how well you can cut somebody out. Because I hear people all the time, yeah, I told that person, and they feel good about it, right? Yeah, I cussed them out. Like, you just let them convert you out of your natural state of being. See, the thing is, your natural state of being is one with wholeness, truth, peace, honesty, being fully able to express yourself. Like, that's your natural state of alignment where you should be in a good space. You shouldn't be in a bad space all the time to where you react. Somebody says something, somebody does something, react, and it sends you flying off the handle because that's you being out of control. That's you being at a loss of power. So if someone could come in to your life, into your space, and automatically trigger you, right, into a response, there's no power there. They just came in and took your power. You gave it away, right? So now you're in a bad space. They got all the power. You have none. So now you got to work to get your power back from that person because now you're feeling bad. You're feeling like, they did something to you. No, you actually did it to yourself because in that moment you had a choice. So you want to get to a space of self-discipline where you think and before you react, right? And then you ask questions before you react, and you put yourself into a space of, okay, are they here to convert me? If they are, I'm not going to give them what they came for, right? I'm going to sit back, assess the situation, and be like, okay. That's all you got to do. Understood.
an excellent example, Kim, because a lot of times people, when they do get upset, they feel like they have to react immediately,
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
do not.
You do not. Because
Not, you
you're
can
in
live
power,
with
right?
that, you can absorb that, you can take the time that you need to decide how you really want to respond.
Mhm. Yep. You can hold on to that energy and have more power
Yep,
instead of
yep,
sending that energy out,
yep.
right? So it's like, all right, I'm gonna choose right now in this moment to hold on to my power. So now
Mhm,
I'm gonna give up the right to be right about it because okay, they clearly don't know what they're talking. This is what I'm thinking in my head. They clearly don't
mhm,
know what they're talking about. So I can react to this and go down that lane with them, or I could just give them, okay, that's the way
mhm.
you feel, okay. And then they're looking at me like, that's all you gonna give me? Yeah, that's all I
Yeah.
got for you. That's all I got. Okay, that's the way you want to do it. That's the way you want to handle
Right.
it. That's the way you feel. That's the way you think. Okay. And then I
Right.
go
And
on
all,
about my day because see, that could have been sent as a distraction to take me away from my centerpiece, right? And my center, that's ironic that they call it a centerpiece because the center is peace.
yeah.
For me, I am the centerpiece, right?
Mhm,
So, and I give myself peace. I'm responsible for that. So when you come to take it away, right, you're coming to take away my peace. You're coming to take away my joy. And if I allow you to do that, now I bear the burden of responsibility of that, not you. Nobody can come and convert you unless you allow it, right? So you
mhm,
have to look at your allowances. What am I allowing? What am I allowing myself to give to you, right? So if I'm allowing myself to give you all of my power, now I bear the responsibility when I'm depleted of no power. And now I'm left feeling lost, broken, hurt, sad, powerless, frustrated, irritated. That's what you're willing to give up in exchange for giving your peace away, you
yeah.
know?
You can
So, and
even
then
feel
you are in charge of
disappointed
that.
in yourself. You can feel disappointed in yourself
Yeah.
for
So
being
why would
so
you do that?
reactionary.
Right.
So you don't want
How
to.
strong you are is how strong you are depends on how you react. You
Yeah.
know, like sometimes you could tell the strongest people are the people that use self-restraint. It's like, you know
Mhm.
what, I'm in control of this. See, when you just you're out of control, right? So you want to bring in the self-discipline to where it's like, I'm in control of this, right? Not you. I'm not giving my power away today. Not to you, right? And then
Yeah.
you simply look at them and say, okay. When I first started doing this in my life, I was giving a whole lot of people okays. They was looking at me like I was crazy. They would say stuff that they knew would trigger me. And I'd be like, okay. I'd be like, that's the way you want to do it? Because they were looking for a reaction. And I was like, okay, that's the way you want to do it?
Mhm.
That's the way you feel? Okay. And I ain't making me nothing. I immediately diffused it. I took away their power. And now they're lost trying to scramble to find something else for me to react to. And they fire again. And I'll be like, okay. I made it mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave up the right to be right. It wasn't worth it.
And
You
in
know?
reacting that way, you find so much peace within yourself.
Yes. Yes, and you feel proud. When I first started doing it, I felt so proud of myself that I was able to keep that self-restraint. And then I
Yeah.
felt powerful, like nobody could touch me. Nobody could get to me. I dare you to try to get to me, right? I dare
Yep.
you to try to get a reaction out of me
Out
because I'm
there
not
walking like
giving
an
it.
Amazon.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, because I was like, I'm not giving in.
Uh,
I'm not
yeah.
giving it to you. So, that is, one of the most powerful things you can do is to show self-restraint, right? So when they come, what are they coming to take? They're coming to take my peace. I'm not giving it away today. It's not
Yeah.
up for grabs today, right? And then I am the centerpiece. I am responsible for maintaining my own peace, my own sanctity, right? And then you go into diffusing it. Best way to
Mhm.
diffuse it is agreement.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's okay. There you go.
All
They be
right. Thank
looking,
you for that.
right. Yeah, you ain't even gotta give them that many words. you know
Yeah.
what I mean? You just be like, okay, what do you want me
Yeah.
to do? You know what I mean? And then you
Yeah.
kind of just leave it at that. There's no more left to be said, you know? So, I mean, you got any way to diffuse that? If somebody said to you, okay, you was like, look, I'm going to tell you a perfect thing, right? Look, I'm going to show you a perfect example. The most tumultuous relationship is the relationship I have with my children's father. Whew, baby, that guy right there. He tries to push my buttons every time he gets the opportunity to. Give him the opportunity, he will try you. And so he would come and I would be like, okay. He'd be like, you're this, you're that, you're nothing, you're no type of person, you're whatever he could say, right? This is the way he tried to trigger me. You're broke. Now, you know I ain't broke. Like, if I was broke, I'd be asking you for child support, okay? Like, be quiet. You're this, you're that. I'll be like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be like, and you're this, and you're that, and you're this. And I'll be like, you might be right about that. it would frustrate the hell out of him. He'd be like, I'd be like, you just may be correct about that. Never thought about it like that before. Right? He'd be looking like this, be like, you know what I mean? Because he couldn't get the reaction he was looking for. He wanted me to be like, ah, like I used to be in the past, ah, right? And so
he could no longer convert you.
No. And then it was like, because I would, entertainment purposes, if I had time, okay, I'd be rah, 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 right back. But then after a while, I was like, you know what, this is not serving you and it's taking up too much time, too much energy, and it's not the space that you want to be in. So don't even entertain it, because the other part is where you put your focus at, that's what will control you, right?
Yes.
So if I put focus on that, or if I keep thinking about it, marinating on it, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that. No, let it go, right? Because now that's my focus, right? Where my focus should be here. No, my focus is out there in crazy land, right? I want my focus to be out in crazy land, so I'm going to shut that down, divert it, bring it back to the centerpiece, and now I'm okay. Because the centerpiece is where my power lies within me. So I'm gonna hold on to this. So I have a choice in the moment. Either I could be rah, 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 or I could just diffuse it and be like, okay. He'd be like, you're this, you're that, you're none of that, you're this, whatever, right? And they'd be like, okay. He'd be expecting me to argue back, but I won't give it to him. So I'll just be like, okay. And then he'll text me some old long paragraph. I'll text back, okay. Because he expected me to feed the beast. He expected me to feed the fire with coming back with a long text too that he ain't gonna read or he's gonna get triggered by. And it's just going on, go on and on and on. We've all been there. It's going on and on and on and on, right? Yeah. So it's like, why am I so invested in this? Okay, let me pull back my investment. This is a dead end street. Let me pull back my investment, get my power back, get myself together, right? And shift my attention off of that onto here, where it should be, centering myself and being happy and getting back into my happy space and joy. Another way to diffuse those things is if you're not saying, okay, you can't do this to the person's face, but let's say they texting you. And next time something you get hit with this, laugh at it. That's a way to diffuse it in yourself. And just laugh at it. I'll be laughing at stuff all day long, right? Because they be coming to get me. They be coming to attack. But I'll be like, I'll just laugh. I'll be like, that's so crazy. Then I'll text back, okay.
That's very true, Kim. Yeah, very much so, because in every relationship, there's an exchange. And when you take your power back, you are deciding what that exchange looks like. You're making the decision. Exactly. If you're going to, fly off the handle and feed the monster with argument and debate, that's the exchange at that particular time. If you decide to say, oh, okay, you're right. Or,
even if you don't believe they're right. That's the thing. Yeah. You don't have to believe they're right. So what that they're right? So right that they're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. That's the whole thing. We base our whole life off of having to be right, right? When it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. It's just the what's so here, right? So once you come out of the fact that I need to be right about this and I need to win this argument, you know how you win the argument is when you say, okay. because now they can't keep going. They can't keep arguing with somebody who's agreeing with them. See,
Yep.
that's the key piece, you know? Like, you want to really look at, how do I maintain my power here? You know, I see people all the time, they arguing with their baby daddy, right? Arguing back and forth, and they arguing about the kids, and they can't come to some type of resolution, right?
Mhm.
It is what it is at some point, right? Let's say he's not taking the kids and he's supposed to take the kids, right? You realize he's not taking the kids. You arguing with him is not going to make him take the kids. It's just going to make it worse. He's just going to be like, she's crazy, she's off that, now you're the wrong person. You ever had somebody, they try to make you the wrong person when they, you know good and well they're the wrong person, but they're making it seem like you're wrong? Okay, you know that they're not going to take the kids. So how do I work through this situation? Okay, let me go to my plan B, right? Because you always got to have a plan B. Let me put some other things in place because I know how this situation is going to turn out, right? All right, so now let's say he's used to you every weekend coming for the kids. It's predictable, right? And then he start acting up, he don't want to take the kids. He don't want to be involved, whatever. You put your plan B in place, right? So you ride with your plan B. He starts wondering, why she ain't call me yet? She always call me. Now he calling you, saying, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Well, what happened with the kids? Well, you know, you always say you busy, so I just, you know, want my plan B. You be like, oh, shit, what plan B you got? You better not have no other man watching my kids. Now he all concerned, right? So now here it is, you got the ball. So he said, listen, if I need you to watch the kids, I need you to keep your word that you want to watch the children. If you're not going to watch the children, right, then I need to figure out other plans. This is not working for me. This thing that we have going on, it's not working, right?
Yeah.
I'm only interested in things that's going to make my life work, as well as you should be interested in things that's going to make your life work. So if somebody else watching the kids does not work for you, right, then you need to tell me how we're going to make this work, right?
Yep.
And then you go from there. And that's how you maintain your power. Not going back with, you dirty nigga, no. It's not going to work.
Yeah, all the back and forth banter is
Right.
is extremely ineffective.
Right.
It just keeps the tension going, and the longer you carry out that type of behavior in those types of relationships, the less functionality is occurring, and the more, let's say, the example is the children, the more the children are affected by that as well.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So someone has to be in charge. Somebody has to have the power. So, okay, it might as well be you. Right. So do you look at what is either working for you or it ain't working for you? That's it. Right. So the difference going back and forth with you, this is not working for me. This is disturbing my centerpiece. This is disturbing my inner peace. I can't have joy in my life because I'm dealing with this thing. Right. So how do I work this out? How you work this out is you go to, because if he's not going to take them, he's not going to take them regardless. And you're going to have to find somebody else to take them, which means you're going to have to put other systems in place to support your life. Right. So figure out what stable support systems you can put into your life that can support you so that you don't have to go back and forth. So it might have to get your sister to watch them and pay them $50 a week or whatever. Or you can enroll someone into helping you, saying, listen, I'm trying to get through college, right? And I don't have any support. And I need somebody that I could trust with my children. And when I thought about you, if I could trust anybody in the world, I would trust you. Right? So are you willing to help me out in this situation? Because I'm really trying to get through college. I'm trying to better myself. I'm trying to make something out of my life. I promise you I won't forget you. I don't have much money now, but I promise I will not forget you when I get up on my feet. Are you willing to help me? Now, who would turn that down?
Yeah, that's like a powerful conversation.
Right.
To have, even if the person can't do it, you know, you stepped up your game by utilizing your power for the greater benefit of your whole entire situation.
Right, right. And then you just say what's there for you. I thought about all the people in my life I could trust in a situation. And the only person, you know, that I felt that I could trust to help get me through this time period is you. I need somebody to watch my kids that I could trust, that won't, you know, that I could go to school and focus on school and not have to be worried about what's going on with my children. Can you help me? And then sure, people will help you. People are
Yeah.
always looking to help you. One of the greatest barriers that we have in life is not so much about giving. Most people are willing to give so long they feel like you're not trying to get over on them, right? But
Mhm.
most people are willing to give. The thing that we battle with the most is how to receive help, right? How to receive, someone adding value to our life, someone being able to be there. You'll find that most people are willing to be there and make a difference in your life. But what happens is in our head is we start thinking, oh, they're going to hold this over my head and throw it up in my face later, so I'm not going to do it. So people tend to suffer in their life and go it alone instead of
Yeah.
just saying, you know what, I need help in this time of my life. And I promise when I get on my feet, I won't forget you. And then when you get on your feet, then you return the favor,
Mhm.
and that's how you do it. You barter with time, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I don't have time to do it now, but in the future I will get you. And I promise, and you keep your word, you don't lie to people. So you always want to keep your name good. So how about we take a break and then we come back with the next section. I hope you found value in that first one. Do you have anything to say more about that?
No, I think you're very clear on it. Yeah.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
Exercise your voice.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're having fun bringing you this information. I hope you are having fun receiving this information. And we're going to take a break and then we're going to come back with part 2. Okay, all right.
Mhm.
We are paused.